Just as we're trying to enjoy the last few days of summer amidst the wars and our planet burning up, the latest headline I'm seeing is Canada is in credit crisis. There are reports of insolvencies climbing towards levels we haven't seen since the financial crisis of 2008. Mortgage arrears are at decade-plus highs. Forced sales in Toronto just hit a record share of active listings. Now, I'm a cup half full kind of gal, so I want to dig a bit deeper to find the stories behind the headlines. Here's what I found. Mortgage arrears are actually still low, both historically and compared to other countries. As of May 2026, only 0.29% of mortgages in Canada were 90 or more days past due. Here in Atlantic Canada, it's 0.31%, so basically the same. Compare that to the US, where arrears hit over 5% at the peak of 2008, and we're nowhere close to that. Now, the insolvency headline, worst nominal year since 2009, sounds a bit scary, but nobody's adjusting for population. Canada has grown a lot since 2009. Scale the numbers per person, and this year actually looks a lot more than like 2016 than 2009. Still a real increase, just not the dramatic one the headline implies. I think most of us learned something from all the bankruptcies we saw or lived through in 2008. Back then, people used cheap home equity to buy recreational toys, vacation, supporting a lifestyle of play now, pay later. I don't think we're doing that anymore, and the banks certainly put guardrails in place since then. And the data backs this up. Mortgage borrowing actually fell in the first quarter of this year. Now, as I mentioned before, some of this could be attributed to tariff and job insecurity, but the total household debt still went up. That tells a story of people leaning harder on credit cards instead of pulling equity from their home. Not for vacations or toys this time, but for groceries, gas, bills, and basic needs. So we stopped using our homes as ATMs, but we're now using a more expensive credit to make ends meet. Some good news is the job market, though. Nationally, unemployment is at the lowest it's been in 2 years. Here in Nova Scotia, it dropped to 6.2% in July, and the province added 4,600 more jobs that month. Some of that could be seasonal and summer jobs, but that will be confirmed come September job numbers. What's actually squeezing people here isn't interest rates or mortgages, it's the cost of living. Consumer Price Index, CPI, is up 4%, but wages only grew 3.6%. That's why almost a third of Canadians now have side hustles. Now here's something I felt firsthand. For months, from last fall to early spring, our market felt like it was holding its breath. Between tariff and job uncertainty to wars and devastating weather events, both buyers and sellers took a step back, just paralyzed by the roller coaster headlines. Then, when the federal government announced over $2 billion in defense spending for Nova Scotia in March, you could feel a collective sigh of relief. 14-wing Greenwood alone saw listings jump 200 to 280% year over year after 2 very quiet posting years previously. Irving's shipbuilding destroyer contract is the largest defense procurement in Canadian history. This is real, sustained investment that will benefit Halifax and Greenwood areas for years to come. And the Irving shipbuilding destroyer contract was the largest defense procurement in Canadian history. This is real, sustained investment that will benefit Halifax and Greenwood areas for years to come. If regular Nova Scotians are auditing their own budgets, cutting back on their spending, I think the government should be audited regularly too and held to that same level of accountability. So here's my bottom line. This isn't 2008, but the financial stress is just as real, and Nova Scotians are being stretched thin. There are glimmers of hope, from the defense investment to positive job numbers, but hopefully we'll see the light at the end of the tunnel long before that, before the elections in the South in 2028. This has been The Real Deal with Dawn.